Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Silent Wolf,
Yo, rolling in. This is Void.
commentating the Donkey Kong Country No Major Skips race for you guys. So just a little bit of background for these runners. Eazinn is actually one of the old school goats of Donkey Kong Country, and previous world record holder for this category. DadLovesBeer, aka DLB, will probably be referring to him as that from this point forward. More of an up-and-comer in the DKC scene, but he's been very active these past couple years, putting in a lot of work for pretty much every category in the game, including No Major Skips. So it should be a very exciting race coming up for you guys.
Yeah, these guys have PBs that are a little over 10 seconds apart of each other, so this is going to be a really close race, and me and Silent Wolf are really excited to bring it to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess now would be a good time, or maybe we should kick off the race and then we can get into a bit more details about the category.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I'll give them a countdown in 5, 4, 3.
Wait.
Oh yeah, I see DLB is not ready. Okay, awesome. The intro screen always takes a long time to get through this game.
Alright, I'm good, whenever.
Alright, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck, gamers.
Good luck, guys. All right, getting right into it. So as I was mentioning, a little bit of background about this category. If you guys are familiar with DKC speedrunning at all, you know that the main category for this game, all stages, is just riddled with frame-perfect tricks. And as one can imagine, playing a game seriously and trying to go for a good time and nail all those frame-perfect tricks in a single speedrun can be quite cumbersome. So that was one of the main motivations for creating this category. So what this category is effectively a warpless / no major glitches run. So what we're going to be seeing here is the runners just moving through every stage without skipping any parts in particular, and it's pretty much just a pure movement category, so it's really awesome to watch.
Yeah, very movement intensive category. And in this level, we have our first difference between this category and all stages. So in all stages, you would normally go the route below this portion of the level and enter a bonus, which would shoot you out and save a couple seconds once you get through it. But since a bonus is technically counting as a warp for this game, the runners have to opt out of it.
Yep, exactly. And there are going to be some stages that are similar to the main category for this game, like this stage coming up right here, Reptile Rumble, as well as the next stage. But I'd say the majority of the stages are changed in one way or another, whether it's a bonus skip in the stage that we're not performing any longer, or a frame-perfect trick that normally glides over an entire stage that we're now omitting in this category.
Something that these guys made use of in this level that is going to be very useful through this run, and is basically the basis of getting, or I should say becoming a good DKC runner, is extended rolls, aka extendos. So what extendos are is you want to initiate a roll before rolling through an enemy, and then release Y as you roll through it. And after rolling through the enemy, you repress Y, and that's gonna give additional length to your roll, and that's gonna give you the opportunity to cross some gaps or get more distance. And they made use of that a lot through the last level.
Yeah, and with this being such a movement-based category, we're going to be seeing a lot of that throughout the run. All right, so Coral Capers, the stage is pretty straightforward, although it is pretty difficult to optimize.
Yeah, every water level in this game is quite a bit difficult to optimize.
All right, so now we're coming up on Barrel Cannon Canyon. This is another one of the stages that is drastically different from all stages. Normally, we go up to the top of the screen and take the blast barrels that pretty much shoot you through the entire stage. But in this category, we get to play through the entire stage.
Yep.
And I believe this is the only category in the game, or at least the only main category, where we actually have to take the notorious barrel section here at the end of the stage, which you'll see these runners doing now. Although these sections, the one in this stage and the one in the snow level that you guys might remember in particular, were very difficult playing this game as a child, for example, they're actually not too bad in the speedrun.
Yeah, this one is pretty tame as far as barrel maze sections are concerned.
And speaking of tame, you'll notice that the bosses in this game are not too much to deal with, in all honesty.
But yeah, bosses in this game are a joke, to put it simply.
It pretty much comes down to like trying to squeeze out as many frames as you can, which can in turn make them pretty difficult. But all in all, like they're not very impressive.
Like that naughty guy, for example, if you try to bounce on him too early, he's just gonna knock you back, and you might take damage in the process. All right, Winky's Walkway, shortest level in DKC speedrunning, excluding levels with warp barrels, and it's like these guys are gonna make short work of it. But the next level, Minecart Carnage. So in every single category except this one, you take the warp barrel that's at the bottom left of that pit right at the beginning. But now they're gonna have to play through the entire level, and this level is really difficult to optimize.
Yeah, this level is really tricky. For a long time, there was no tech in this level until this category was made, and you know, people decided to finally look for it. But what we're going to be seeing these guys do is trying to start strings of buffered jumps in particular locations. And what this is going to allow them to do is kind of maintain their speed that they had when they started that jump string initially. And it's pretty tricky. It's not as straightforward as, you know, jump up all the upward slopes and ride down all the downward slopes. It changes on a case-by-case basis, so it really takes a lot of practice and memorization to get stages like this down in this category.
Yeah. Definitely very memorization heavy. When I was learning this category, I was struggling trying to remember where to jump exactly and like how high to jump and whatnot.
It's not exactly the most fun stage to learn, but when you bear in mind that you could be saving like 5 or more seconds by learning the specific jumps in this stage, then it becomes absolutely worth it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Alright, Bouncy Bonanza. Arguably the hardest level in the early game. There is a bottom route that the runners are going to take that can be really tricky. They're going to go for some B skips and some crawl space zips to try and eke out every time possible out of this level.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely one of the harder levels in the early game. Oftentimes people pretty much just refer to World 2 as Bouncy Bonanza in all stages because it's pretty much like the only notable level in World 2. But in this category, we do have a handful more of difficult levels that we're about to see here.
Yeah. The following levels, including this one, Stop and Go Station, they have warp barrels in other categories, but now we're going to have to play them warpless. And this level is actually pretty cool. The one piece of notable tech in this level is those rock crocs. If you roll through them, they're not going to damage you. So as much as possible, we're going to try to exploit that. Other than that, yeah, very straightforward platforming level. Looks like both of these guys are doing a good job at it so far.
Yep, looks like no problems here on either end. So on this next stage coming up, Millstone Mayhem, we're going to see a lot of that same thing where we're going to abuse Diddy's roll and roll straight through some of the enemies that should otherwise be hitting you. In particular, the beaver wheels that we're going to be seeing in just a moment here. So you can either roll through these or you can bounce on an enemy and that will also put you in a state that you're invulnerable to them. So we're going to be seeing a lot of that being abused to quickly skip past these.
And it's worth noting that those millstones have ginormous hitboxes, so like mistiming your roll ever so slightly can result in taking damage.
Yeah, these guys make it look easy, but you do really have to familiarize yourself with the hitboxes of both your Kong and the beaver wheels as well.
Ooh, the sink is real right now.
Yeah, it's a close race. We did some practice races last night, and they were pretty close like this as well for the most part. Coming up on Nicky's Nuts, another pretty straightforward boss. This boss can actually be pretty hard if you're really trying to squeeze the frames out, but if you play it even just a little bit safe, it's pretty much the easiest thing in the world. Yeah, and both these runners get past it no problem.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna pretend like the bosses are climactic for the worlds or anything like that.
Something worth noting, though, is that that boss, as well as the follow-up bird boss in World 6, are the only sources of RNG in this game. So.
Yep.
Alright, so another level that normally you would just take the warp barrel, Vulture Culture. This warp barrel is donkey only, but now we're gonna play the level as intended. The tricky part about this level, for the most part, is those barrel cycles. You really want to properly time them. Some of the rolls to try and skip some barrels can be tight, and they really save minimal time. So it's really like a risk versus reward kind of balance thing that this level has going on. Looks like they both got the really hard B skip that I was worried about. It's really easy to take damage on one of those Bs towards the end.
Yeah, and both these guys get through it no problem. Very impressive. Treetop Town, another stage that you would otherwise pretty much entirely skip in just about any other category. And we get to see it in its entirety.
Yep.
Both these guys going for the risky roll over the ledge into the barrel. No fear. Again, another tricky stage to optimize because of the barrels, but if you take it just a little bit safe, it's not too bad. The thing about this stage is it can be quite punishing if you make a mistake just because of the nature of the stage being, there's pits everywhere, basically. Yeah, you guys will probably notice that a lot of the stages in the early game are where the changes come from between this category and all stages in terms of the warps. But later on in the run is where we're going to get to play through stages that you'd otherwise skip using the frame perfect tricks that some of you guys are probably familiar with from all stages.
This actually is one of those levels, Forest Frenzy. So there is a trick in all stages that we do called the super free roll, which is a derivative of the super jump roll. We can talk about that more later, but not allowed in this category. So we're gonna have to ride the big ol' auto-scrolling rope for the second half of this level. But even then, there is some tech to it. So what these runners are gonna do is they're gonna be climbing the rope infinitely by simply holding down and mashing B as hard as they can. And what that does is, like I said, that's gonna give them as much height as they possibly can, and hopefully get this rope skip that they just got very nicely done. And it's actually not over, so they're gonna go for another infinite rope climb, and towards the end of that auto-scrolling section, they're gonna do a little back and forth to despawn the rope, and then go back and land on these birds. And these birds are hopefully gonna carry the two of them to the end.
All right, it looks like both of them get it. Nice.
Very nice. That was a very recent tech that got discovered. It saves about 4.5 seconds over just riding the rope up until the end.
Yep, shoutouts to Fatlo for finding that one. That's probably the biggest skip you'll see in this entire category, by the way. Nothing major, just a, you know, little minor skip there. All right, another temple level and another difficult level to execute at that. Definitely one of the more notorious stages in World 3 for its execution and difficult extended rolls as well.
Yeah. This is really the level where you need to graduate your extended roll knowledge in to really perform well.
Good reaction from Eazinn to jump out of that. That's one of the more difficult extended rolls in this stage. you have a pretty small window to react to whether you made it or not, and if you don't react in time, you will actually take a death. And deaths in this game can actually be quite punishing. So although we have a pretty good sync going on right now between the runners, like one death can really shake things up. And once we get a bit later in the game, I think we might start to see some more riskier gameplay.
The hardest levels have yet to come, after all.
Yeah, I don't want to say anyone's gonna die or anything, but
yeah,
the stages are not easy.
Yeah. So this stage, normally you would do a trick called map warp to simply skip over this level, but now we have to play it in this category and ride our buddy Espresso to the end. Not a whole lot of tech once you are riding Espresso, but he's definitely one of the animal buddies that is pretty interesting and fun to play with in terms of movement in this game.
Definitely. All right, we're in Clam City, another water stage, pretty straightforward. It's all about timing and counting your lunges with Unguard the Fish. And yeah, basically you want to be really cautious in these shark sections, because if you accidentally do your lunge input too early, your input won't come out and it'll totally throw off your rhythm, and it can be very easy to either take damage or lose a lot of time trying to get back into position for those sections. But it looks like these guys have no problem with it.
Yep. Nicely done.
It looks like we've had a pretty good sync going on pretty much this entire race.
Yeah. Very good race so far. Yesterday, the sync wasn't as real as it is right now when we did our practice races, so yeah, it's definitely a good show. I'm enjoying it. This boss fight, not a whole lot to talk about on this boss fight. These guys are counting actually the number of up and downs movements that the Queen Bee does after they hit her, to actually piece together which cycle they're on and whatnot, how long they have to wait before damaging her again. And now we're in World 4.
Yeah, I think World 4, particularly after Croctopus Chase, the long water stage in this world, is where the difficulty really picks up. But this stage and the next stage are also very difficult as well, so...
DLB taking that section a little safe. Make sure not to lose Diddy. You cannot do this barrel boost when you're a donkey, so not a bad strategy.
In particular, you guys, if you play this game at any point in your life, you probably remember this hellish barrel section at the end of the stage. Well, in this category, you're actually forced to play it rather than taking the blast barrels to skip you to the end at the bottom of the screen there.
Yep.
So in a speedrun setting, it's not too difficult to execute, but one mistimed barrel shot will spell death for you, so it is still very intimidating.
Looks like they got through those sections, no problem.
All right, we're coming up on Slip Slide Ride. Probably everybody's favorite stage in this game, but this is the only category where you actually get to see it in all its glory.
Yep.
And I think it's also the only vertical stage as well. So what we're going to be seeing...
It is the only vertical level in this game.
What we're going to be seeing, it looks like Eazonn's going for him. He's going for a lot of these rope jumps up the blue ropes. Those do save a good chunk of time. They add up, but if you miss even one of them, you can lose pretty much all the time that you worked for throughout the stage. Yeah, it's also the only stage in the game that has this particular song as well. Which is unfortunate because it's a great song.
It is a good song. Like, yeah, this particular song and this particular tile set are exclusive to this level. All right, now Ice Age Alley, where we're gonna grab our buddy Espresso once again, and he's gonna make short work of this level. This level is actually a real pain to play without Espresso, because you have to wait on these rope cycles and whatnot, but Espresso can just fly across all of it. You don't have to worry about any of those ropes. Of course, if you lose Espresso, then that can spell doom, but some of these guys are doing pretty good so far.
Yeah, the problem is if you take damage on the ostrich, you actually hold on to that momentum and go flying, and it usually results in you just flying straight into a pit. But again, these guys are getting through it no problem, it looks like.
And now we've reached the halfway point of the run, Croctopus Chase. This is a over 2-minute long water level, and the only real way to speed it up is to cut the corners as close as possible.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much to be said here. I think this might be a good time for donations, honestly.
This is actually a good time for donations, yep.
I have plenty. I have $15 from the Shaded Master that says, "This game says Donkey Kong Country, but it really looks like Diddy Kong Country." I also have $25 from Weirdaholic that says, "It's donkey time. Every dollar equals 1 extra life. Keep it up." $15 from Congo Bongo that says, "Donating for my boy DK. Always love seeing the DKC games ran. Best of luck on the run." Time for one more?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Anna Cause donates $20 and says, "Sup Beer and sup Eazinn. Good luck on the race. Keep pressing Y and don't forget to take squawks."
Yo, shout outs to Anna Cause. So as we mentioned before, this is kind of the calm before the storm. Immediately after this, we're going to be thrown into a handful of very difficult stages. So we have a pretty good sync going on still at this point, but that's very likely to change in the coming stages. Boyd, are you muted by any chance?
I was just eating a bite. That's okay.
Oh, gotcha. So one thing I can say about this stage is that the goal for this stage to do it is finish the stage before you hear any of the pianos play in the background of the soundtrack. And we call this piano-less. Oh, and it looks like DLB just misses it. It's really tough. It's pretty much the sign of being a master at the stage.
Yeah. Shouts to Lovebird. Alright, so Torchlight Trouble. Pretty short level, but very execution heavy. And you can actually grab Squawks the Parrot at the beginning of this level to light up the way, but Squawks creates a ton of lag, so it's faster to just skip him. And these guys, like, they can still play the level no problem. Like, it's a dark level, but it's not as dark as, say, Blackout Basement that they're gonna play later on in World 5. And we follow up Torchlight Trouble with another really difficult level, Rope Bridge Rumble. So, in all stages, this would be your first instance of a frame perfect trick. This would be the first super jump roll, the mandatory super jump roll of the run, but without a super jump roll, this level is really difficult, and as you can see, Eazinn taking a death. Yep. This section is really tricky. You have to pan the camera to the left and then face right afterwards, and just be consistent with your movement afterwards. Otherwise, if you mess up like the tiniest little thing, the camera pan, or like maybe your jump is not good enough, you're not gonna make it onto the platform, which is exactly what happened with Eazinn.
Thankfully, that death was right after the halfway barrel, though, so not too much time lost there.
Yeah. It's a very classic death spot for that level.
So what you're going to see these guys doing on this boss is actually sacrificing Donkey Kong at the beginning of the final cycle here, and that's going to allow us to skip that cycle entirely. So rather than doing 4 large jumps, the beaver is just going to immediately go for the short jump, allowing you to hit him.
All right, and now we're in World 5, and Orange Drum Alley is where the hard platforming really begins.
Yeah, this is where all the good runs come to die.
Yeah, this would be another level that you would just do a frame perfect trick and fly over in all stages, but now we're gonna play it the good old fashioned, and yeah, very pleasing to the eye when everything is done properly in this level.
Absolutely. A lot of tricky extendos. You'll notice these guys are actually able to land on the oil drums next to the fire and roll off of them. Normally you can't land on the oil drums when the fire is active, but if you land on the very right edge of the oil drums, you actually can land on the edge without taking any damage. And these guys are abusing that so they can get extra roll time in. Very
nice from the two of them. It was really good.
That was really good. All right, trick. This is, I believe, the last level that you would ordinarily skip using a warp barrel in all stages.
Mm-hmm.
In this category, yeah, go for it.
Instead, we have a 2-minute long auto scroller.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a pretty straightforward.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's pretty straightforward. The only real piece of tech we're gonna see here is these guys trying to avoid as many enemies as they can, because it actually causes a tiny bit of lag for each enemy that you kill. It's 1 or 2 frames, I forget, but over the course of the stage, it can add up to a significant amount.
Looks like Eazinn grabbing a safety donkey right there. Something we haven't mentioned, but is actually coming to play here for this world and also for the next world is if you have 2 Kongs on the overworld, that will lose you time, about 10 frames per location where the Kongs have to stop, and only having 1 Kong will can save you a decent amount of time over the course of the run. And in this level in particular, there are quote-unquote free donkey barrels that you can grab and add another Kong to your party for safety purposes, but as Eazinn did, he is preferring to grab the Kong and ensure that a death isn't, or a mistake I should say, isn't as painful as it would normally be.
Yeah, and I think that's a wise choice. I would say World 5 is probably the most unforgiving world in the category. So at the expense of losing like a second or 2, you do have the security of, if you take damage, you at least have Donkey Kong to back you up, as Void said.
Redemption.
DLB not holding back at all, though. Staying solo Diddy, trying to hang on to this lead.
Yep. And yeah, having 2 Kongs might definitely come into play for this level, Elevator Antics. This is a very difficult level, and this is another level that, similar to 1-2 from earlier this run, normally in all stages you would grab a bonus and it would shoot you forward into the level, but now we have to do this pretty cool middle section, bottom route. The DLB gets through no problem.
Yeah, it's a very cool section to see done cleanly, but it can be pretty tricky. Like, you see these guys jumping through the crawl spaces, but if you happen to miss one of those jumps and accidentally crawl through one of the crawl spaces, a lot of the time the game will eat your next roll input. So if you're unsuspecting in that regard, it's pretty easy to die in this stage because of that. And this game is quite notorious for eating inputs, as anyone who runs this game can attest to. Nice, both runners get through the stage, no problem though.
Awesome.
All right, DLB, Andy's and heading into Poison Pond now. This stage is, for the most part, the same as all stages, but there is a shortcut that you take through the wall towards the end of the stage in all stages, ordinarily. In this category, we actually have to go down into the lower section that is riddled with these spiky circle things called the mincers.
Yep.
And it can be very tricky to maneuver that section without losing your fish, or even worse. So let's see how these runners do it.
Yeah. Probably the hardest section in the game to just like optimize.
One thing that's worth pointing out is the beginning of Unguard's lunge, the fish's lunge. He's actually invincible, and you'll see these runners abuse that to actually get through these mincers, as Eazinn just did there.
Wow, very nice. DLB opting to take that section a little safe. Totally understandable. That section is very difficult. But yeah, Eazinn was able to get through it very cleanly, and looks like he was able to make up a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
Poison Pond.
Still a really close race. So another minecart auto-scroller, a little bit different from the last one. Rather than jumping along with the minecart, when you jump in this stage, you actually jump out of the minecart. So most of what we're going to be seeing these runners do in this stage is just trying to jump out of the previous minecart as early as possible, and that will allow them to land in the subsequent minecart as early as possible. There are a couple little auto-scroller techniques in this stage, like we'll see Eazinn and DLB do here, where they bounce on these two birds to make it into the next cart, and that allows them to preserve the quick momentum they had on that previous part of the track. I believe it saves about 1/3 of a second, but in a category like this, where it's pure movement based, that much time is very significant.
Yeah. Especially considering the tech is on an auto-scroller, like you would have nothing else to do really. So
yeah, we take the free auto-scroller time save.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, coming up is gonna be Blackout Basements, the most infamous and difficult of the dark levels in this game. So the light cycle turns on and off every I want to say like 61 frames maybe, so it's like a little over a second. These guys can navigate this level no problem. The thing is, if they make a mistake, then that light cycle can be influenced, and if you're not familiar with the level as a whole and the light pattern is offset from what you're familiar with, that can be a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the visual cues that you rely on are on certain parts of the stages where you can actually see things. So if your light cycle is off sync, you'll just really need to have practiced that particular phase of the light cycle to know where you're going. But still, no problems on either end from these guys.
This is really close.
Yeah. One thing I would like to point out is that the final stage in the run is definitely the most difficult and the most unforgiving stage. So
yeah,
regardless of what happens up until that point, you never know what's going to happen until after Platform Perils is complete.
Alright, DLB prematurely losing Diddy in this fight. It's actually intended that you want to damage boost or swap your comms during this fight, as Eazinn did. Because Donkey can dispatch those last 2 cycles of enemies much quicker than Diddy. So what actually might have looked like a mistake wasn't that bad.
Yeah, so Eazinn swapped. He apparently wants to keep Donkey Kong for World 6. But again, we're going to be seeing DLB sacrifice DK and try and go solo Diddy through World 6 to save the frames.
And now we have Tanked Up Trouble. So in every other DKC category, you want to do a jump roll in this level. You have 2 instances of jump rolls that can save close to a minute if you get the best case scenario. But in this category, instead of doing jump rolls, we're gonna try to do a really difficult extended roll that saves about 5 or 6 seconds, and it's coming up on both of these guys' screens.
Oh, looks like both of them get it. Nice.
Nice, very nice.
Not breaking the sync yet.
Yep.
I really hope that it is just synced until the very end, and it's just gonna be that close of a race.
That would make it really exciting, especially for barrels. But yeah, for the rest of this level, we're going to be carrying, at least for DLB, DLB is going to be carrying this tire onto the platform, and that's going to hopefully help him skip this DK barrel. Alright, nice. Now you can get rid of the tire. Eazinn, since he's carrying Donkey already, doesn't have to worry about that. But yeah, if you're planning on doing the entirety of World 6 solo Diddy, then you're gonna have to go for that piece of tech.
Coming up on the end of the stage here.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so...
Manic
So Manic
Mincers.
Mincers. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is the only instance in the run where we get to see our loyal friend and animal companion, Rambi, the rhino.
Yeah, DLB having issues with Rambi. As I'm shaking my head over here.
Not shaking your head at DLB, of course.
No. Just shaking my head at Rambi. Rambi, unequivocally the worst animal buddy. But looks like Eazinn lost Rambi early.
It seems to be a lot of people's opinion, but you know, I think Rambi's all right. An okay guy. But yeah, the main reason that we do take Rambi through the stage is so we can actually Yoshi him into the pit and do a damage boost later on using the mincers. All right, both these guys making it out of Manic Mincers. A little bit shaky, but they're still hanging in there.
Yep. And now we're rolling into Misty Mine. Misty Mine is actually one of my favorite levels to execute. And in all stages, you would do a super free roll in this level. Once again, fly over the whole thing and not worry about the platforming of this level at all. But yeah, this level, pretty technical.
Yeah, it's very difficult to optimize, very easy to lose time here and there, and if you do get a little greedy trying to save that time in certain areas, it's very easy to die as well.
Mm-hmm.
I always find it interesting watching people play this stage because, like Void said, you don't play this stage in all stages, so a lot of people aren't quite as familiar with all the little techniques that you can do in this stage, so everyone kind of has their own little strats that they do in each section, and it's always fun to watch.
But I mean, we've both been running this game before 2016, so yeah, we know our ways.
Yeah.
In this level.
All right, moving into Loopy Lights. Another dark stage, but not dark enough for our runners to not see what's going on.
Yep.
The gimmick of this stage, other than the lights, is the jumping clap traps. So whenever you jump, they jump. But with a well-timed roll and jump, a lot of the time you can keep moving past them without even slowing down.
Yeah. The tiniest change in your roll or jump in the wrong spot, though, can really come back to bite you.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure you maintain your normal play flow through this stage, because it's pretty easy to get thrown off when the lights are off. All right, I think Eazinn has been slowly making his way further into the lead as World 6 has been progressing.
Yeah. And he still has Donkey. So let's see how Platform Perils goes. Platform Perils, arguably the hardest level in this run, and very deserving of being the last level in this game.
This stage is actually the final boss of the run. Usually whenever you finish a speedrun, as soon as you're done with this stage, you're like, yes. The PB is pretty much set in your mind as long as you play it fairly safe on the next couple bosses. But yeah, this is absolutely the final boss.
Yep, especially the second half.
You'll be seeing these guys go for some pretty complicated extended rolls over the gaps, and then You actually can't kill these crushes at the end with anything other than barrels. Eazinn going for the risky barrel strat and misses it. Oh,
Misses it. Dang.
so close. That's actually the very last, pretty much one of the last jumps in the stage too. But also one of the more difficult parts of the stage.
Oh, and he didn't grab halfway. Dang. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Very
Still,
tough death for Eazinn, yeah. But he went for the hard strat, so props to him for that. DLB opting to play it safe, and looks like he's gonna, as long as no unfortunate death on K-Roll, looks like he's gonna get this W.
Oh, Eazinn opted not to grab the halfway again. I'm assuming he's just not trying to break his muscle memory throughout the stage. DLB coming up on the final boss here. K-Rool. A little anticlimactic. It's more of a glorified cutscene, people tend to refer it to.
Yeah.
Not too much more difficult than any other previous bosses.
As a kid, I'm sure everyone got by the fake credits, but...
Yeah, I know I did.
Yeah, I know I did too. But yeah, there really isn't much to do in this boss fight. You just wait out the cycles and you jump on him as soon as you can.
Alright, looks like Eazinn made it through perils that time. No problems.
Yep.
Still a really close race, all things considered.
Yeah, it was really close until that unfortunate death in perils.
Yeah, I was really hoping it would come down to the K-Rool fight. Totally understandable. Perils is not easy.
Not easy at all. The fact that it was this close for this long, though, like I don't think we could have hoped for a better race.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, DLB is done.
That's the run. GG DLB.
Yep, GG DLB. The end? Question mark.
Oh, wait. What's this?
What's happening? He's alive.
DLB not even phased by it.
Yep.
Might have seen this before. Yeah, everyone likes to kind of make fun of K-Rool and mimic his last jump cycle.
Yep.
All right, and there it is.
That's time. Yep, time
Nice.
for DLB.
Nice run, DLB.
Nice run. Looks like as Eazinn is doing the fake credit sequence, which is about, I want to say 50 to 55 seconds away from the end of the boss fight.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Let me see what the final time was.
Yeah,
actually,
I'm curious
for
about
DLB.
that. I think that was
41:24.
Whew, that's really good.
That's really hot. Yep. So we didn't talk about this at the beginning of the run, but DLB's PB like 48 hours ago was not as good as that run he just got. So
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Yep. Yeah, 41:24 for DLB. Very nicely done. And Eazinn is done as well. Let me see what the final time is. Looks like a 42:16.
Nice. With the death, with having to replay pretty much all of Perils, that's an extremely solid time.
Yep. Good job, gamers.
Yep, nice runs, guys. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. I guess we can do some quick shout outs and hand it back over to you guys. First and foremost, shout out to AGDQ for putting this marathon on and having us once again. Definitely big shout outs to Eazinn, DLB putting on an awesome show, Void helping me commentate, and just the DKC community as a whole. You guys are freaking amazing.
Shouts to DKC community, shouts to speedrunning community. Thank you guys for rolling deep, and keep on doing so for the rest of the marathon.
That was such a cool run to watch. DKC is one of my favorites, so very, very cool. Thank you. I have $25 from Ozzy James that says, AGDQ is already on a roll this year with DKC. Seeing these runners break this game that broke me as a kid is just bananas. Can't wait to watch the rest of this event with my kids this year. It's sure to be more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Triceratops donates $25 and said, I'm on the edge of my seat. These barrel skips are insane. Fantastic movement, fantastic music, fantastic runners, and fantastic commentary. Looking forward to a week full of this crazy skill. Static Rodent donated $25 and said, races are always my favorite part of GDQ, and I'm so happy to see one of my favorite games, Donkey Kong Country, run as a race so early on the first day. Good luck to all the runners. Fun Onion donated $20 and said, first time donating. I'm watching with my dad, and I'm so excited for the games to come. Good luck, everyone. Iggy Zig donated $10 and said, GDQ time, speed games, lamps, poetry, a virtual crowd. Thank you all for keeping the hype going right off the bat, and best of luck to the runners and volunteers and staff throughout the week. Much love. The Lemon Fairy donated $50 and said, amazing DKC race. Both great runners and great commentators. Excited for a full week of AGDQ. And we are going to take a quick ad break. We will be right back. Welcome back to AGDQ 2021 Online, powered by Twitch. Cavalry donated $100 and said, AGDQ is the perfect way to kick off 2021. Cheers to some amazing runs and a brilliant new year. And we are actually going to head over to an interview.
The Prevent Cancer Foundation has supported a number of initiatives that have allowed the American Indian Cancer Foundation to expand nationally and really meet the needs of American Indian Alaska Native communities. Going back all the way to 2012 with our very first Powwow for Hope, which is a day to bring together cancer survivors and everybody who wants to care and support them. American Indian Alaska Native communities face significant cancer burdens. And what Prevent Cancer Foundation does in partnership with the American Indian Cancer Foundation is listen to the communities. And that's when we find the solutions. We go to communities because we know they have the answers, not because they have the problems. Thank you, miigwech, to the Prevent Cancer Foundation from the American Indian Cancer Foundation.
And we are back. How about we read some more donations, yeah? I have $250 from Anonymous. There's no comment, but thank you so much for your donation. $25 from Mittens MD that says, what an amazing DK race. Right to the very end. Well done, runners. What a way to start the day. Matthias donates $25 and says, what a great DKC run. Awesome runners, and shoutouts to the commentators as well. $50 from James and says, why am I donating? Just cause. I get it. Bruno Fightmaster donates $15 and says, AGDQ hype? And starting it off with a great race between DLB and Eazinn. Great work to both of you, and congrats DLB for the win. Wish I didn't have to work so I can watch more of the marathon live. Money goes to Skyrim to get as many games in the marathon as possible. $20 from Rainbow, or Rainbow, either one of those, that says, y'all are rocking. Keep it up. Anonymous donates $50 and says, I want to see the crazy X5 routing, all stages. And just to let you know where we're at for the Mega Man X5 all stages upgrade, it looks like we are about a little over halfway there. So keep those donations coming in for that one. Morgan the Lavender Bard says, so excited to have AGDQ happening again. Been a wild year, and I'm so happy to be able to give this year. That was a $100 donation. Thank you. $20 from Anonymous says, first time catching a GDQ live and donating. I want to thank the runners for helping such a great cause and the tech crew for helping put this all together. Keep up the good work and may the RNG be in your favor. Cherry Scary donates $50 and says, first donation of probably many for the week. Took the week off to sit back, relax, and enjoy some amazing runs. Good luck, runners. $15 from Efia says, never could figure out how to save zero consistently, so maybe if you show all stages, I'll find out. In either case, I put way too many hours into this game, auto-scrollers and all. Nathan and Cassia donate $20 and say, love watching GDQ. Have numerous cancer survivors in our life. Happy to donate to a great cause. Good luck, runners. $100 from Dean of Gaming that says, thank you to all the staff for hosting this amazing event, and thank you to the runners for putting on an amazing show. Good luck, everyone, and have fun. Anonymous donates $50 and says, the prize pool is incredible. Super hyped to upgrade that X5 run. And now we are going to go over to an interview with SpikeVegeta and Eazinn and DadLovesBeer.
Yeah, I value good gaming chairs when you're sitting in these all day. I went through office chairs like once every 6 months, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I had horrible back pain.
Office chair this time.
I was sitting on like a super soft couch, but it was like killing my back.
Yeah,
So now
you're
I
slouching the whole time.
Yeah.
You're rocking the office chair.
On the couch. Yeah, my girlfriend actually got this for my birthday.
Oh, we're live. We're live.
Okay, cool.
I believe we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to AGDQ 2021. We're figuring out this new interview setup. Hope y'all have enjoyed the marathon so far. We have had already 2 amazing runs between Mirror's Edge and now that amazing Donkey Kong Country race. Now, I'm no GDQ historian, although I've been around for 10 years. I'm an old man. But for over 38 minutes, that race was unbelievably synced up. It was like one of you would make like a 1-second mistake, and I was like, oh, they suck. they're out of it. There's no way they'll be able to keep up. I just want to talk to you guys. Do you feel like that the fact that you all were so close the whole time is more of a testament to you and all the, like, at this point, hundreds and even thousands of hours you put into DKC as a speedrun? Or is it more of a testament to this category and its own consistency without all the frame perfect tricks and everything?
I'd say it's a little bit of both, personally, because the category doesn't have the frame perfect trick, so it makes it easier to stay close together. But at the same time, the game is very difficult, so you kind of get a bit of both of those elements going on there. But it's more natural to see a race close without the frame perfect tricks at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
I would actually be in the same boat as Eazinn. And one thing about this category too, and DKC in general, is that this game has very, very little RNG. So any mistake that you make is going to be your fault, and you can't blame the game. Sometimes there's a neat input here and there, but it's always going to be your fault if you mess up in DKC. And just like Eazinn said, without the frame perfect tricks, everything is pretty much the same. So, yeah.
Yeah. Y'all brought up the RNG. There was one point where the first bird boss, like the crow or whatever, like I think one of you had it, you had like a third of a second lead, and the other bird was slightly higher up on your screen. I forgot who it was for, and they hit the ground at the same time. I was like, oh my God. We're actually talking about like the one piece of RNG in the entire run. Absolutely amazing race. That's going to go down as, I think, one of the greatest races in GDQ history for just 38 minutes of absolute sync. I want to talk to you both now about, this is obviously a recently built category with all the frame perfect tricks and everything built in. For a newcomer to Donkey Kong Country 1 speedrunning, do you think this category is more or less beginner friendly than, say, an all stages run where you get to skip a lot of the levels, but a lot of the skips are very hard? But you got to play the levels here, but a lot of the platforming is very hard. What would you all say?
I would say that all stages might be an easier category to start with, because you don't have to do the frame perfect tricks, and it's a shorter length. So you can, you're skipping auto scrollers, you're using warp barrels and not having to do some of the harder sections that you do in this category. And then when you want, you can just put in those frame perfect tricks. So I would say it's more user friendly for sure.
So if someone comes into my stream and asks, would you recommend this category to start with, or what's the most beginner friendly category? I've never, ever recommended this category to begin with. I've always said either all stages or NMG. I would consider this more of like closer to an advanced category, a category that I think if you've played the game for like a year or so, you can take it up. But I don't see this as a beginner friendly category, because you have to play all the stages that you normally skip. It is a longer category. It is much, much harder than all stages. And personally, I think it takes a longer grind to get good at. So I would say this is not at all a beginner friendly category. Not the hardest category, but definitely not the easiest or beginner friendly.
So let's segue then into my next question about, again, it feels like about half this game is stuff that we got to showcase on the GDQ stage with this race for the first time, like chunks of levels, whole levels sometimes, new tricks, new strategies that have been found. What was the hardest part for each of you building up to this race that you were most nervous about nailing in front of the live audience?
Definitely the section in Poison Pond that you normally skip.
Oh God,
that is terrible. I wish we didn't do that. And Platform Perils. Platform Perils is the hardest stage in the game by far. And as you saw, I died right at the very end. It's brutal. You don't get the halfway point. It's awful. The end of the run, you're super nervous. It's a very hard stage to nail when you're under pressure like that.
We talked about that a little bit afterwards. You almost pulled off an absolutely legendary backup right there, trying to damage this with Diddy. I appreciate the try. DLB, I want to kick it over to you though as well for what was the part you were most nervous about building up to it?
All of World 5 and 6, because I would say that's my weakest point in the run, and specifically my weakest level is ODA, which is the first stage in World 5. I was also nervous about, I don't know if the commentators, how much they talked about it, but there's new tech in Frenzy, which is the third stage in World 3, and it's where you jump over all of the birds. And if you miss a bird and you fall, it's a huge time loss. And this was just a strat that was found, I think on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it looked terrifying. Our boys Silent Wolf and Voy, they were on top of it. They were doing some good commentary there. Let us know about it. I said, that just looks terrifying. That is so much time loss. You just whiff on a bird there. So
yeah, I was very nervous going for it.
Awesome. Now, one more question before I let you boys get going for the day. Future projects after AGDQ. Eazinn, you've worked on a ton of different Super Nintendo speedruns, including the DKC series, DLB. You've worked on stuff like DKC 1 and 2, Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2, and the greatest monkey-based speedrun out there, GoldenEye 007 Agent Mode earlier this year. What are future projects we can expect out of both you going forward for 2021?
I'm probably going to continue with this category for a bit, especially with the new tech that was found. I'd like to get the world record back. That would be pretty cool. I don't know how long I'm going to grind this for. And probably going to learn the DKC2 ROM hack unveiled that Void is showcasing, because that looks really fun. So I'm going to keep your eye out for those two things. That's what I'll be working on.
That's awesome. DLB?
So I had talked about learning DKC3 after GDQ and then doing trilogy runs in like March or so. But I think I'm going to continue with this category for a little bit more, just like Eazinn said. And I also had thoughts of maybe learning SMB1 and some other unique stuff. SMB1, I wanted to learn Contra as well, maybe Super Mario 64. I kind of want to get a little bit more diverse other than Donkey this year. I mean, who knows if I take it up or not, but that's what I at least want to do.
I feel like every speedrunner says this about, I want to learn this, I want to learn that. There's just a smorgasbord of runs out there. We'll see what actually happens. But
too many games, too little time.
Right. Definitely looking forward to both of your streams in the future. Guys, we got a lot of great incentives and stuff coming up down the pipeline, including Mega Man X5 coming up just a few runs from now. We need to upgrade that to all stages. Luis Miguel, one of the greatest speedrunners in the world and a standout of the Mega Man X series. We need a little over $4,000 right now to get that to all stages. You want to see that. He's a legend. We're going to kick it back up to the front for more runs here at AGDQ 2021. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks.
Hello, AGDQ. I hope all of you have had a great start to the new year. My name is Oscar424, and I'll be with you for the next pair of runs this AGDQ 2021 online, powered by Twitch. So let's start off with some donations, shall we? We have a $50 donation from Haggis Lord, and they say, finally a new GDQ. I wish all the runners the best, and a big thanks to the whole staff. We also have a $25 donation from Cyberbox X. They say, I'm so happy for AGDQ 2021 having started. It has started off great. Looking forward to the whole week of runs. Putting this towards upgrading Mega Man X5 to all stages. And again, we are getting so close to getting that upgrade to Mega Man X5 all stages. We are over halfway there, and I know all of you can do that. Speaking of which, we have a $100 donation from Bard621, and oh, I see the trend coming up saying, I'm donating $100.